All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. Get this noise suppression on. I'm a big fan of noise suppression in the apps. I've noticed that if I use noise suppression on my uh, interface for the audio, I get a better quality sound if there's a second noise cancellation or noise suppression or noise gate in the app that I'm going into, the streaming app. So that's always good to have. Seems to work a lot better than just one level of noise gate. And you'll find that sometimes that is true for professional performance, that they'll put primary and secondary noise gates. So we're on Earth and there's systems here. You hear people speak about systems, which is fine, but the systems are corrupt, and that's not fine because it creates a false illusion. If I give somebody that's corrupt power in a system, and the person that's not corrupt doesn't get power in the system, then you can see the issue there. So the illusion will be because you're getting paid back. The system pays you based upon your credit in the system, but the system is false. And that's one of our big problems. I don't know what's going on with my voice. It sounds kind of weird in here, but we'll see where it comes out. And the information, like I said, my big thing is getting the information across, but I have to go through all of this to make sure it works. It looks like something's stuck here. Could be some issue with the app. Test, test. They usually wait for me to walk to the same spot and do this. They think they're funny. Oh, no, no. It's just you're in that spot. That's all. Now, it could be it's just not the volume. The one volume meter is moving, the other volume meter is not moving. So it's kind of a weird situation here. There's a lot of hacking around. Broad. How do I know it's them? Because I can see the 5G connection, the highest it's ever been in the history of humankind. So, in a system, if you're not getting, you're not going to go up, you're going to go down. So, you ever wonder why the worst cop in the world is doing wonderful and the best cop in the world is just barely making it and then ends up eating their gun? That's even the protection. You can get protection not to eat your gun by being powered by the system. Now, the Justice Department doesn't have a minimum level of power that they give somebody based upon actually doing their work. Like being in the Justice Department, one of the agencies, and doing the work. It is built to destroy anybody they want to destroy. And that's personal opinion, personal preference kind of thing. Don't let them tell you that we're taking out the criminal. And there's people in government right now that like me and that hate me. I mean, but that's not really what the system's based in. It's supposed to be based in fact and law. But of course, neither are the cases. But that's all across the board. So church is the same way, believe it or not. So people look at the Bible and go, well, you try to understand what it is. It's a system. So they say, well, that person over there, they're impure, so that means they're not with Jesus. Because essentially Satan could make that conclusion. And you're all with Satan, so you make that conclusion. But they threw in the Bible that it'll actually be the reverse, where Satan is going to look pure and holy. And that's how it's going to work in the end times. If you go to a church and it's corrupt, it's not going to pay you for your good works, and then the beast is going to kill you. And that includes maybe you're going to have sex with somebody in the church that you're not supposed to have sex with. You might look at some porno. You might be a boozer and come into church all drunk. I mean, we've all seen this before. Now, some people, they're just part of that thing and it gets them. So they're messing with my connection. I'm going to go up this way. I mean, there's a cell tower right there. It's just like where I was before. I can be sitting in front of a cell tower, and they'll start hacking it. So this, I know it's not the connection. So again, the government doesn't like the truth. Neither does Trump. Bump me down the 4G. Because you opened your mouth. You get it? It actually works better on 4G sometimes. See, they cut off my 5G. That's what they were doing. So then when I go to 4G, for some reason, it works better. Now, with what I pay for internet, there should be nothing wrong with my signal. Or for, cell service and internet thereof. So I'm going to go up this road here. Actually, this is one of those unsafe cell phones. It's got such a powerful signal that the people that warn people about unsafe devices said this one's unsafe. But I neutralize it with a case and a cover. It's a one-piece case or a two-piece case, but it has its built-in screen protector, and that will keep you from nuking your face or help. But again, the figures they give you are for you people that don't have a case on your phone. It's actually safer to have a case on your phone with a built-in screen protector. That way, it minimizes the radiation coming off of it. So it is what it is. Take a walk up this way. So each system has to pay you, or you're not going to get anywhere, and you're actually going to go backwards. The more work you do for it, the more you'll go in reverse, because there's criminals out there and others fighting those systems. But yet in your agencies, departments, and churches, you have criminals that turned the system into criminal. The mafia took over law enforcement and taught them racketeering law enforcement. And now that's the holy grail of law enforcement. And they have this deciphering mechanism. Used to be a mob boss, now it's psychology. And then they engage in racketeering using psychology. Because now, you can say, well, the law is this, and this is this, and that is like, well, no, we got psychology. Psychology is going to, and it could. Actually, psychology could fix everything. Again, they're not interested in fixing things. But yeah, they're interested in fixing things. Like fixing tickets. They fix pedophile cases. They fix murder cases. They fix everything for the criminals. That's why you see criminals living the great life and everybody else just kind of struggling along. Unless you're part of the criminal enterprise. Again, they don't see themselves as a criminal. They're just helping a criminal that, gives them a few dollars. Because, probably some of them got that far in their mind. But they still don't see themselves as criminals because why? Because they're So if the system doesn't pay you, you're going to go backwards. These are things that I didn't know when I was in government, and my coworkers probably didn't know either, but they were just, a lot of them sold out. And that's where that comes from. They curse you off, they paid to be devils, CIA backs them. CIA recruits them and then backs them. I mean, they're idiots. So what you'll hear from them, I'm being told what's going on. What you'll hear from them is that he's just good. He's just book smart. That's bullshit. I was the top as far as combat engineer, sapper leader, a sapper. I was the top couple percent of engineers and sapper leaders in the United States Army when I left. Definitely top 5% in everything. But when it's corrupt, it's corrupt. They couldn't figure it out. Then they try to get you to go in reserves. I'm like, what's this? Get out of here. I'm going in reserves. Get out of here. Right. So then when it came to like what I applied myself through, security and executive protection, I was some of the best in the Marshal Service. It's just the reality of what it is. I help other people and they got their name. That's fine. But again, when it came to doing certain tasks, it was a setup. They don't let you do it and then say it's your fault. And no, I didn't have any big reprimand for that. The reprimand was the scam shit, where they were just, setting me up for termination. And it wasn't really anything that big. When you're in a parking lot and you turn your wheel and it goes ski. I mean, I've heard it a million times. Not like you're going, or the front tire goes ski. So I look at my rearview mirror as I'm pulling out, and the little girl is hiding behind a pillar. Right then and there, that's corrupt. You don't stalk your coworkers. If you have an investigation, you turn it to internal. She was most likely also following me after hours. So they write me up for that. But I knew it was the end at that point. Well, I didn't know it was then. Again, I was being drugged and I was being done by CIA and whatever people around that they had, hired through shadow hiring system. That's who those people are that work for Facebook, that work for Google, and all that stuff. Oh, they're here to block me again. And I'm going to try to keep this going here. I also have it going into my Rode Wireless Go 2, so it's recording. So I can always later, if it didn't work, I can go back and repost it, retweet it, whatever it. This is a system I designed in my mind like probably years ago, but again, that was being drugged and operated pretty heavy. Still being operated, but there's no drugs that I can detect. Which means Kansas is possibly the United States of America, Oklahoma, not United States, Texas, not United States. Now, they'll tell you, well, Biden and China, every one of those Republicans made money off of China. That's how China got so big. And they could still be. I mean, they don't care. They just do it behind the scenes, And that's how messed up they are. It's just like the people that are creating sex criminals and the ones that are having all the sex. They stand before you as well, we're keeping the world safe, but it's all bullshit. Is there somebody in missing exploited children that doesn't do that? I'm sure. And they know who that is, and they make sure they're not around them when they do it. Or they tell them some live story. So again, sexuality is a sure thing. And in metaphysics, the sexuality is even sure. So, yeah, they should have known what was going on, people having sex. Well, actually, they know what's going on because they're putting them into it. Again, they want somebody as the scapegoat. Just like the investigation of that murder and that secret society ghost. It's not the only one. New Jersey got smart and said, you all knock it off. They came out like, we're going to do internet shows on hunting predators. And you know what they were doing? They're having orgies at the hotel every night. Getting all liquored up. Smoking it up. And the CIA knows they're doing that. But what that does, CIA knows, believe me, when you get to Project Artichoke and you get to all the other organizations that are doing these type of things, they know. You get to the Operation uh, or the Operation Midnight Climax, Project Artichoke. It's way past that. They 100% know now that this is happening. That you get people sexualized, sex them up, and throw them at your victim in the name of catching your victim. And then teach them techniques to sexualize the victim. Yeah, so I reloaded again. But yeah, it looks like they got some of their people out here driving around. So again, they don't take it too good when you tell the truth about what they're actually doing, so they can buy the little scumbag house or their big scumbag house and be special in the community. I was actually absolutely shocked. I went to Kmart when I got to Mount Laurel. I rode my bike there, got off my bike, went inside like I do, I've been doing for years to stay fit. Some woman looks at me with her friend, some piece of shit. They never served in the military, was never in law enforcement. She's there with some dirty cop, screwing disabled veterans and others off. And she talks about calling the LT. I tell you, whoever LT is and whoever's LT is going to get cursed and continue to get cursed until the shit stops. And this is how many years later? Maybe we should call LT. I'm just shopping, man. I mean, I was Ramboed. I've been Ramboed for like 25 years. Why are you doing it? Because you're all criminals. You all work for spycraft entities that stole the world and don't let honest people stay in it. And somebody goes, well, I'm offended because I'm honest. You're not honest. You think honest is doing whatever it tells you to screw somebody. That's your form of honest. You're all schizophrenic, and you cause schizophrenia in your victims. You know when they get the call to come into town and hit the person again, oh, they call it task force or something? It's because the person healed. It is anti-psychology they're using. When we think of antichrist, they are anti-psychology. So again, that model of behavior, that model of person is in psychology also. They were supposed to have the app. We're still using the web app and they're hacking it, I believe. So again, we have organizations that we should respect. And again, I didn't hit them real quick because I knew Missing Exploited Children had a world that, probably had usefulness, but now I doubt that. I mean, it's a scam. It's a racket. Okay, this person over here gets protected. They pay us money or they do some dirty work for us. It's like every other organized criminal piece of shit. I call you a piece of shit because that's what you all are. Well, I save children. You save children because you made a
See, it kind of ruins them because, like, I'm not a wealthy person. And at a certain point, if I drive around a lot, again, law enforcement officers should figure this out when they give you the bullshit. It means I don't have money to go back out and drive around. I'm trying to save a few dollars. But they'll say, "Oh, see, something's up. He's afraid of the investigation. He's running from it." I mean, shit like that. This is the nonsense. I mean, it's so psychotic, actually. You know, I expect to hear that. What's that psychotic song? What was that one by Roy Orbison? That movie, Blue something, Blue Velvet. It's like Blue Velvet, but it's in law enforcement. I brought this up before. It's like psychopaths. We're out there creating trans, creating gay, where people don't want to be it. You got that SEAL. I told you before the SEAL turned around. Right? I told you right when I first saw him. I said that guy was psyoped into that. He doesn't know it. That doctor that put him into it could be working for the CIA. The VA doctors work for CIA. You know, thumbs down on disability, thumbs up on disability. Hey, give that guy double, give that gal half. That's what CIA's doing. And CIA includes everybody that they hired everywhere else to be it. Private contractors that mull into the organizations for them. So yeah, I'm probably the strongest, psychologically and ethically strongest person on the planet, considering what's come against me. I mean, John Lewison said, same people came against John Fluter came against me. Probably still here. Right. If somebody leaves the government, goes into some big job, I'd say 99% of the time, it's one of these CIA shadow operators. That's who all those people are. They own the world for the CIA. Right, and we're keeping you safe as the world continues to degrade. Don't care for a simple reason. They own several homes. Their main home is anywhere from 500,000 to a couple million. That was just while they're in, probably. They don't care, man. Life's good. If the world's safe for them. They say, well, it's China, it's Russia. You know what? The CIA itself could have caused COVID because they're such idiots. They could have went out there trying to get some sample, and then they met at Wuhan. What do they call it? Wuhan market. The two spies, the Chinese guy that gave it to them, or a couple Chinese people and a couple of U.S. people met at Wuhan market, did the transfer, and the whole world failed. Now I'm not telling you it is, but that's the kind of people that are in there. You know, they all have stock in all. You know all that weaponry that they sent over there. They all have stock in it. They don't care. Let the war rage in Ukraine and Russia. They're making money in the stock market. Yes, Mr. President, we should buy another $2 billion in weapons, and they invested in half of those companies. That's how it's all working. And no, this isn't at the level that everybody knows. They didn't know you were out there making pedophiles, getting children raped, getting people murdered. Well, it keeps us safer. Because why? Because they have more money to build their little safety net. Nice little park. I'm being stalked. No, I'm not. Somebody's here. Could be a couple of them. Because everyday people work for the thing, telling everybody like a squirrel that they're saving the world. They're squirrels, man. They got no sense. Well, I think we're pretty good. You're pretty good at what you're doing. Look at the world. Oh, that's because criminals. Oh, okay. We just, they talk about money going to Ukraine. You know how much we spend on law enforcement a year in this nation? Well, it's because of criminals. No, it's because you kill genius, all of you. And you live for corruption. I know. I've been there. You'll do anything for a person on a task force. You'll do anything to be on a task force. Not that I've been there, doing the corrupt stuff, but I've seen it, and I'm like, now there's people that are anti-police, and they'll go, "Oh, we duped him. We duped him. We're actually anti-police." No, you work for the crooked cops. The ones you try to say I am or I was. You actually work for the crooked cops, all of you, and many of you are. Because it's anti-police. Is any cop that'll do another cop like that. The way I explain with the spy craft, they're anti-police. They're pro-corruption, pro-criminal. Okay, so let's go to the mafia, La Cosa Nostra. You know La Cosa Nostra hates black people, right? Odd group of people out. They don't get covered by that criminal that's associated with law enforcement. The theory is this. Again, the whole theory that, the mafia keeps people safer. It's classic mafia. What's going on in law enforcement is classic mafia. Everything from the racketeering, the extortion. We keep people safe, therefore we can be criminals. Classic mafia. Somewhere along the line, they said they sent their kids into law enforcement, and they took over. Doing the coworker dirty. There are two people in New York, maybe three, but two I'm sure were from mafia families. Now, being from a mafia family doesn't mean that they're involved in the business directly, but their family benefited from the power and the proceeds of the La Cosa Nostra. That's what's going on. The government is now taken over by the mafia. And that gives them an extra summer home, an extra, what do they call it, ATV, a bigger swimming pool. They love it. Now, are there honest people in government? Yes, of course. But are they running anything? No. Will they retire? They probably die before they retire if they're too honest. I'm going to reload here because my thing is... So again, very interesting. So they're busy bringing everybody in for the beast, including the church. Now, the church won't admit it because why? Because they're the beast. So what is the beast? I brought it up before. The beast is spycraft and witchcraft. And they're riding the beast. And that's how they bring about Babylon. In fact, all of this stuff about their psychology may seem right on paper, but like I brought it before, it's probably a lot less now, because as soon as I bring it up, then they fight them. If you went to Wikipedia years ago, they explained how mainstream psychologists think that FBI psychology is insane. And it is. I mean, you could make it work, but the idea is, well, why are you struggling there when you can go somewhere else with real psychology and make it work real? Because that's not what the goal is. I mean, you wouldn't have to make it work. It would just work on its own. That's why I didn't worry. I was like, well, I'm fine. But you're not fine when mafia is portraying itself as a government entity that's honest, and mafia being organized crime. Are they all Italian? No. Were there Italians that were part of the mafia that took over the government? Yes. A lot of them up in New York, of course. And that's where it kind of grew out from. That's why Southern New York holds all that power. It's mafia run. They won't let anybody, somebody else try to take the power. They send the mafia or the CIA mafia. No, I'm not going to say everything because they're going, well, how did he know? How did he know it was us? All right, one of the agents went, "It's me. We're after you." I said, "We're out here. We're all out here." It's in my mind. It's reality, man. There's no up for this planet. It's over. God showed you all over the years exactly what was happening. But they, to make the money, to be that powerful, piece of garbage, you wanted to stay where you all were. Well, I'm gonna reload this because it's getting kind of slow here. No, I don't have to stop this. You all have to stop this. You all have to make good, pay me, and then we all move on. Will the earth be safe? Probably not. But things might go a little better until the end. It's the same thing. If you have the propensity or the potential to be that corrupt, then it needs to go. I mean, they murdered people, man. Tons of it. Now they all weren't pedophiles, and if they were pedophiles, number one, they're not supposed to murder them. Number two, they probably weren't before they operated them. No, it doesn't show a weak personality. "Oh, we all went through it." No, that's the psychosis that they're all under. You all didn't go through what I went through. "I know we're smarter and better than you." See, that's where they are. And that's a trip they're on. But yet they're ignorant. Okay, we'll go over it again. They sit in government. CIA comes along, finds out they're a piece of garbage, hires them on through shadow stuff. The life starts picking up. The agency gets, CIA message, shadow message to promote them and give them a good position. They get into these positions, and they have these packages developed by people that actually know what they're doing. And they have systems that, were developed by people that know what they're doing. And they plug into that, push button number one, and then the little, the funding comes out. Ding, 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 ding. You ever wonder why the other person's getting funding and you're not? And they automatically get like $30,000. They throw money at it. Another person gets $1 million, throws money at it. Of course, it's going to look like something. But when you don't tell the president the truth, when you don't tell the people the truth, what do they know? So you have a million people who need to get arrested, and they arrest 5,000. Wow! It's amazing. The people are amazing. I mean, come on. Oh, but we answer 911 calls. And look here. This cop, he bought the homeless guy food and gave him shoes. I mean, come on. Sometimes they feel guilty enough to do that. So if I go out and I buy somebody's shoes, they start torturing me. And they torture the other person. Or they say, "Oh, here's some money, just play this guy. Just give us some bullshit reports that we asked you to give us in the end." Me, So you have to understand something. When they're causing somebody not to have money, not allowing people to hire them, and saying, that F can't even get a job. That's how messed up that person is. They're also attempting to subliminally message the person and witchcraft and curse the person to be something like a bank robber. This is what your government's doing all day. And, we'll pick them up later. Just keep doing it. They actually tell people to get them to operate against me, especially new people. He's horrible. We got most of the case built. 6 months at the most, he'll be arrested. So don't worry about it. He's not going to be on the street. 6 months comes and goes. A year comes and goes. They start wondering what the hell. Then they do go to the next. That F. It's his fault. Somebody protected him. But you could get in trouble for what happened. So we got to take him out. See? Then they start building it up outside of law. When they're outside of law to begin with. Then they cut somebody's head off with a sword in Santa Fe. It's not just them. There's tons of them like it, including state police officers, city police officers, FBI agents, DHS, ATF. Hey, man, I got an expense account. It's called the Informant Fund, right? It's all, come on, let's go. I'll go to the club. It's on me. We'll even get rooms. It's on ATF. Yeah, that pervert. Yeah, babe. That's how they are, man. He's just trying to have sex with you, man. I'm here to save you, babe. And when it's all said and done, they're all too embarrassed to say anything, even though they're sworn to secrecy under threat of arrest. And partying on the tax dollar and destroying the genius of this nation. That's Trump's fatal flaw. He hates genius. So people would gladly work for Trump, but he'll kill them. If they're genius, he'll kill them. Somebody's doing something. It could be like Stingray. Based upon what's going on, it could be a Stingray that's doing this to me or something like it. Regular. Okay, that's all. So I would say, I'm psychically seeing cartels have stingrays and stuff like that. So the criminal enterprises have that. But I don't know where. You have to find it. Although it could be this guy over here. RDE license plate, 215 RDE. RDE road. I've been looking at road stuff, so, if I was drugged, I might make that connection. Oh, the squirrels are running! Squirrels here running. Well, a strange beep came out of his vehicle, which would say, sounds like something. Was that a radio, like a police radio or something like that? Right. And it could have been a scanner. It could be a walkie-talkie, but along with it came up that psychic inference. And that's probably how they're doing it, although they could have hacked into the towers. Or they could work for CIA and be sitting at the console at NSA. Am I crazy? No. Am I tortured? Yes. Am I alone? Yes. Do I talk to God every day? Yes. Do I talk to spirits? Yes. Do I talk to all of you? Yes. You've heard me somewhere along the way if you're here. Every day people figure out who I am in reality. So we need to look for things such as Stingray or something with that capability. So what happens when they use that on a law enforcement officer? It comes up, right? So again, that's one of our weak links, I guess. But then again, we have people at Verizon that might be working for them. I mean, it's a lot of money. I mean, cartels are putting a lot of money out there to try to take over the nation. But cartels could be an ATF agent. A cartel could be a CIA officer. But when we go back to the basics of what it is, it's the beast. We were further along than I could see. Of course, I was being drugged, so a little bit difficult. So I joined this car wash club. Like $32 a month, but you can wash your vehicle every day. And these car washes are like $10 to $15. Or actually, the one I picked was like $15. 2 car washes, you pay for it. It's weird because it's not as swirly as it was all screwed up with swirly, but with this car wash, it's not swirly. Now it's not as shiny as I like it. I usually go over it with detail spray. So this vehicle here was a screw from them as far as lifestyle and impression and doing what I need to do to stay alive. But yet, when they injured me, this is it, man. A van, when you could barely walk and you got to travel around. I wish, like in 2007, I'd have bought a van and a trailer and just hit the road and stayed at these places. I probably would have been married at that point. I mean, they were still around me when I left, because I told my mother I was going to Colombia to meet somebody. We'll come back. I said I need help. So I'm going to come back. I need help helping to take care of you and all that. If it works out, I'll come back with her. And she tripped out, so I had to leave. I left and I went up to Orlando and stayed at a few places. And they were around me, messing up my life. I had to call the cops one time when I couldn't find my cell phone. And it's like, as soon as the cop comes up, I know he knows who I am. I mean, that's not a natural world. I mean, he's supposed to know who I am. We're supposed to talk about business and that kind of thing. Everything. But they do the anti thing. Now, he wasn't a jerk. So they know how this is how I walk. I just reloaded again. They know this is how I walk, so that's part of what they're doing, is trying to make me unhealthy as possible. Block me from the gym, block me from massage therapy, block me from physical therapy. Most of it was psychological, but it was with enough force that, you know, I'm not ready to go through that again. And they were probably drugging me at the time. So again, it's probably like 3 or 4 pronged. Now these people are nobody that should be in law enforcement. In fact, they're criminals. Criminal to the point that they would kill a coworker for something. Yeah, they'd be, you know, spycraft about it, but it's still murder. They feel, they portray, oh, we're killing the criminal, we're killing the pervert. Meanwhile, they all run around grabbing ass, and you know, like I showed you, that whole thing revolves around pedophiles running it. He wasn't that old, but those girls were probably underage at that point when he started having sex. So again, what happens is they catch him at maybe 20, 21 years old, and they start grooming him into being that type of person. You know, the guy that's going to catch the pedophile. He didn't come up with it on his own. You don't know how many times they tried to force me into something like that. Noise suppression wasn't on. That's kind of weird. All right, test. Yeah, it looks pretty good. But, well, I could just click the noise. You don't laugh too hard, all of you, because I can just click the noise suppression on when I edit it. So again, what happens is certain things will trigger God, and you'll lose your protection, all of you. It could be something as simple as I get to a point in life, and then there's no forward momentum because of something you all did. Again, I can't get to an apartment now. You screwed up my last apartment that I was trying to get into. There's another apartment. They know which one it is. They took it offline. I can't find it. And I unfortunately didn't bookmark it. That was a long time ago that I found that one. There's other things, such as I can't afford something, and God wants me to have it. It's not me wanting to have it. Again, I don't have much. This was designed so I would never get forward enough to have anything. 100%. It's spycraft. So again, you have to understand that they're using this against U.S. citizens, and the Russians and the Chinese are doing great no matter what these politicians say. So they're using this stuff against these everyday Americans that they call the pedophile, that they call the Juden, that they call the sex rapist or the pervert or the drug dealer. Oh yeah, I was being investigated for being a heroin distributor because I did charity for somebody that was possibly at least well, I know they were using heroin. I got him and his girlfriend's life back to where they were from, and out of Phoenix or out of Tempe, wherever it is. I guess they were in Phoenix at the time, and they showed up at my hotel at Tempe, and the guy begged me to help him get home, help him and his girlfriend get home. First, he wanted money. Then we found out there was first he wanted something like to involve me. I think a ride, and I said, nah. I said, I'll find you a bus or something. And there's no freaking bus to this town. It's like a mining town. I'm like, what the hell is that? I mean, it's not like a nowhere place. So I took a day. I drove him out, bought him some pizza. But then, of course, they use that against me. I told you before, when I went out to Indiana to pick up my furniture after it was in storage for like 4 years, I couldn't get out there to get it. I go and I grab it, and they're being pulled over all the time, so they used it against me. Meanwhile, the real criminal, right? See, this is the point. Somebody from New Mexico or Arizona, call them, or wherever, and they call them and tell them to stop me, while the real narcotics distributor is actually told to follow behind me about a quarter mile. See? That's exactly what's going on. Now, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.